AI is everywhere. Companies are using algorithms for efficiency and consistency. Imagine you work hard and your promotion gets decided by an HR algorithm. Even if it's accurate, and here is the important part, even if the AI can reduce human bias, your gut might still scream, that's not fair. So, why does less bias not necessarily mean more fair? Hi, I'm Sumit Malik, a researcher at the University of Amsterdam, and welcome to The Devil Wears Data, where I break down interesting research for you. A lot of useful research, I think, is basically inaccessible because scientists usually write papers for other scientists, not for you and me. But if you're curious, you're at the right place. So, researchers at the University of Southern California conducted a mix of 5 experiments and a real workplace test on HR style decisions. Across the studies, people saw the same kind of decisions: who gets promoted, evaluated, or rewarded. But the decision maker changed: a human versus an AI algorithm. The key thing they measured was procedural fairness. Basically, did the process feel fair to the person on the receiving end? They also looked at whether this changed how committed people felt to their organization. And they tested 2 fixes. One fix that they attempted was whether a small human override could fix the fairness problem. Another one was, does transparency fix it? What if we tell people exactly what the system looks at? The pattern was consistent. People judged algorithm-driven HR decisions as less fair. Even an algorithm-first, human tweak later approach didn't rescue fairness. And the transparency didn't solve it either. The only setup that worked was when human participants were told that a human HR manager owned the decision and could consult AI as an input. People rated that process about the same as a fully human decision. Why were people feeling that AI decision making is unfair? The researchers argued that algorithms were seen as ignoring qualitative information. People assume algorithms prefer what's easy to measure. That makes the full story feel ignored. In other words, the real culprit here is reductionism, the sense that the system squeezes a whole person into a few numbers. For example, let's imagine a candidate is up for promotion. The AI model scores people on their quarterly output and on-time project delivery. What AI sees is that the candidate shipped fewer features this quarter and her project ran late. What it misses is the human story, that she inherited a project that was already failing and spent 6 years preventing a major client from leaving. She's going to say, "You're punishing me for taking the hard assignment." The numbers look worse because I did the invisible work. So when AI is involved, people assumed important context gets lost. That missing context explains lower fairness ratings. A couple of things to understand here are that this perception of unfairness is more likely when the decision feels like it requires a holistic read, when context and intangibles matter most. In other words, this is less likely to work for hiring, firing, and promotion decisions. In such decisions, it is better to keep humans as the default decision makers, use algorithms as input, not as the final judge. Give employees a way to add context, to challenge, and to correct the decision. Finally, an important note here is that this is about perceived unfairness. The studies aren't proving that algorithms are objectively worse. When the researchers held the outcome the same and said it was decided by AI, people said it is less fair. When they said the same outcome was decided by humans, people didn't say it was less fair. So the takeaway is simple. People want to feel seen, not scored by AI. Are you interested in what happens to your creative reputation when you use AI? Find out in this video link before, where I discuss research on it. Thank you for joining me on The Devil Wears Data, where I break down interesting research for you. See you in the next video. Bye bye.